Welcome to the Shed Quarters. I have a brand new toy and I'm going to take you along for the journey. I had a laptop, which is this POS right here. This was a Dell XPS 15, and I'm not going to say anything bad about XPS in general. The XPS line, for the most part, have been pretty good. I really enjoyed it. It worked great for my needs. This particular one, this is my third XPS 15, is a heaping pile of crap. And what ended up happening was it went into a laptop asleep and it turned itself on, and what happens is it gets super hot, and actually the third or fourth time that's happened to me, it fried the touchpad, and I thought, oh, I could just replace the touchpad, no big deal. Touchpad is kind of a pain in the butt to get to and to replace. So we're not going to do that. We're going to move to something else. This has, it's done its time. It's time for something new. They don't make the XPS line anymore. I decided to move on to something else. And I have a lot of friends out there. You're probably going to say the same thing. Kevin, why don't you just get a MacBook? Everyone's running MacBooks now. The M4 MacBooks are great. And I don't disagree with you. I have a Mac Mini over there running an M4, and it's an amazing machine. But I do a lot of Windows-based stuff, and it's probably a good idea for me to stay Windows. So I got something that was not a Mac and that could run Windows. And I decided to try the Framework 16. So the Framework, if you're not familiar with it, is kind of a DIY, do-it-yourself laptop. Takes a couple of weeks. I think I waited about 3 weeks for this to show up. It comes in the mail. It got stuck in customs, but it finally arrived at my door. And we're going to open it up. We're going to show you what is inside the box, and then we're going to put it together. Box opens up. Okay, there's some stuff to show here. This is pretty well packaged. We have everything inside that we're going to need to assemble the laptop. Let's go bit by bit. First thing we have is the keyboard, US English. There's an instruction manual. There's some stickers. There are some spacers. So these are going to be on the sides of the keyboard. There's different things that you can choose for this color-wise. I was really simple. I just stuck with black. Put those off to the side. Let's see. All right, we have the bezel. So this goes around the screen. I'll put that off to the side. There is there's a multi-tool for putting the parts together. So I did bring me my iFixit kit just in case, but it looks like all the tools I need are in the box. Then there's a bunch of these little boxes that show the different expansion cards you can put inside the Framework. So I got USB-A because I think you should still have one just for reasons. I got a handful of USB-Cs, 1, 2, 3 USB-Cs. I did get an SD card slot because I'll do some stuff with video and I do stuff with the 3D printer, so it's good to have an SD card. And then I got a native HDMI port for the laptop because these are always super useful. You don't need the dongle to use it. In total, I got 6. That's what Framework recommended. That's why I got it. Let's take this stuff out. Inside is a laptop. All right, so there's a laptop here. We're going to lay that down. Let's see, more stuff. All right, so half this box is hollow. I wonder if they use the same box for other things, because the inside is just packing material. Probably a good 2.5, 3 inches worth of packing material just for everything. Cool. I'm gonna put that back. And then there's this little side piece which has a power adapter in it. This should charge via USB. Yep. So this is just a big brick with a USB-C connector in it. We'll see how much use that gets. I'm flipping through the instructions here just for a general idea of what you're supposed to do. And I love it. It's in multiple languages, and it says, using your portable computer. Awesome, because that's what a laptop is a portable computer. This is not actually installation instructions. They want you to go to a video, which I'm assuming is going to be a YouTube video of sorts. But let's go ahead and peel back some of the pieces here. I'm being gentle with this. I don't know why I am. Treat it like a Christmas present. All right, so let's pull this out. Go more. I'm being gentle with this. I don't know why I am. Treat it like a Christmas present. All right, so let's pull this out. Throw more trash off to the side. All right, so this is the framework. It is a 16-inch laptop, a little bit bigger than my XPS was, but that's okay. This should still fit in all my bags. It has that nice Apple like kind of look and feel. It is much thicker than my other laptops, which is okay. And you can see here on the side there are spots for the expansion ports, and it's like that on both sides. If we were to flip the laptop open, ooh, okay. So there's a plastic sleeve in here to protect the bits. And then if we were to flip it around, we see there's a screen, there's a spot for the keyboard to go. And there's some numbered spots in here, so it looks like they want you to take this cover off and do the various bits and pieces. So I'm going to change my view a little bit so you can kind of look down on what I'm doing. And we'll do this one step at a time. Alrighty, let's pull out the framework. Now, I need to make a couple decisions. We'll flip it on the back first. We'll put in the expansion slots. I'm not sure if this is the order you're supposed to do it, but this is what we're going to do. You have 6 expansion slots. That's why we bought 6 different cards. I need to figure out what's going to go where. Now, obviously, it's going to charge via USB-C. So I do think I want to put my USB-C ports towards the back of the laptop. Just thinking from a customization standpoint. I'm also not limited in my decision. Like, I can change my mind if I want to. But my assumption is if I'm sitting here using a laptop, I want the cord to either come out the left or the right, going to whatever is being used to be charged. So we'll want that. I am used to my HDMI being on the right side of the laptop. So I'll probably do USB-C, I'll do HDMI, and maybe over here I'll put USB-A, just so I don't plan on using that too often, but when I do, it should be out of the way. And then the other side, I'll just do a SD card, and I'll do 2 other USB-Cs. Let's just go and do that now. So if you open up one of the expansion packs, it comes with the little doohickey, the widget. All these are USB-C, which is kind of cool. So I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to slide it into place. So, yep, that's right. What's really nice is if you put them in there, if we take a look, I have USB-C, USB-C, and my card. I think I like that arrangement, so I want to lock it in. These cards lock into place by flipping these little levers. And now these cards can't come out. They're pretty stuck in place. If you decide you change your mind, you can flip them back, and the cards just pop out. So they should be nice and secure. They're also supposed to be replaceable. If something happens at HDMI port, I can pop it out, buy a new one, and it's all good. Now, while I have this flipped over, there was an option when you were customizing your framework to put in a integrated graphics card I didn't know too much about the graphics card. I didn't recognize the model, but it was out of stock. So I probably would have bought it if it was available. It wasn't, but what it looks like from the pictures is this back piece can actually come out and it can be replaced with a little bit higher power graphics card if that was something I was interested in. We're going to flip this around. We're going to open the laptop. I'm trying to be a little bit careful with this stuff. So notice the laptop opens up to probably, 160 degrees. I'm really bad at trigonometry. So that's it's more than 90. It's less than 180. So it's open. There's various numbers here on the inside of the case. So we're going to go through. Let's find number 1. So what's number 1? Number 1 says pull. All right, so we're going to pull that out. This is probably where I should have looked at the video, but I didn't. All right, so I did cheat a little bit. I did actually go look at the instructions. So one thing when you flip it open is I didn't realize there are little hooks here as well that flip out. These are locks. And what these are actually locking in are the spacers and the trackpad. What's cool about this is you can rearrange this in various ways. Everything on this is modular. So I believe for some cases, if you wanted to have the trackpad over here, you could actually do that and you could have something separate in this little area. I'm really boring. I'm very traditional, so I'm not going to do anything. However, I need to note, remember what I was saying about the XPS and how the trackpad fried on me, but I couldn't easily remove the trackpad. I just removed the trackpad. So we're going to set that off to the side. And now we have all of our screws that we need to go through and remove. And these are all Phillips head screws, and they're numbered. So let's just take a look at everything that we have here. So we'll start with number 1. So number 1, we have to pull the connection probably for this board. And we'll walk around and we will go ahead and switch back and forth between star bits and Phillips heads. I don't know why they did that to us, but they did. So what I understand, these are captured screws, so you don't have to worry about losing the screws. We'll go to 3. We'll go to 4. All right, assuming you did all that correctly, it pops out like this. I want to kind of bring it in for the camera so you can see the different colors, the number screws. So I did them in order 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't think you necessarily needed to do that. Just make sure you get all the little black screws that are attached to the aluminum tray. We're going to set that off to the side because we don't need it. That gives us into the guts of the system. What's cool about this is there's a lot of stuff that's labeled. The first thing we have is RAM. That's probably what I want to put in first. So we'll go ahead and pop out our RAM modules. If you've never put RAM into a laptop before, RAM is not necessarily universal. You could mix and match sticks of RAM in a machine, but you want to make sure that things like the timings are right. So this is DDR5 5600, and I have 2 identical sticks. I like doing this sort of stuff in identical pairs. So normally what you do is you slide the RAM in. Of course, I put it in backwards. It will only go in one way, which is good. And then you push down and they click into place. There are registration marks here, which I'm not sure how well they show up on the video, but that means the RAM can only go in one way. So if I were doing it wrong, it wouldn't go into the slot. Because here, if I flip it around, if I flip it around, it doesn't even go in the place. So it can only go in one way. Oh, there it goes. See, it locked. It just, yeah, it was giving me trouble. Let's take a look over here at storage. So we have a storage spot here for M2 storage, which I have. I'm going to take one of my slots. Again, this can only go in one way. I'll slide that into place. And then the way M2 works, let's see, that's a star bit. I had it right the first time. We remove an anchor screw, and we're going to put that down. All right, so good thing I did the review. One thing that they said was, as you're putting back on the metal cover here, you should be cautious of this little strip here. So there is going to be a piece of plastic, which we do want to remove. All right, there we go, because we don't want that getting onto hot stuff. And we'll flip it back over, and we'll lay it into place. It can only go in one way. That's what they said. All right, it only goes in one way. And now we'll push one in to reconnect the bar. The installation is the reverser removal, so let me go through and do all this work. And then 17. Cool. All right, so we have all the different plugs in. So now we can put back in our spacers. Actually, can we put back in our spacers? I don't think we can yet. I think first thing we want to do is we want to open up our let's open up our keyboard. And you can customize this stuff. I just chose not to because of shipping delays and all that good stuff. I didn't want to deal with it. I also have 2 keyboard spacers that you can get really cool ones in different colors. You can get them in RGB, which they looked awesome. I'm not going to say that. They just added more time to the shipping, so I decided not to do that. But what's cool is, if I feel like I had RGB spacers missing in my life, I can just go buy more. So I bought 2 blacks to go to the side. I thought they fit the aesthetic of what I was going for. All right, so let's see how this works. There are registration tabs for everything. The keyboard slides under the back bezel, and it pops into its registration marks. There's no screws holding it in. I don't know if that's going to be good or bad yet. Spacers work the same way. Let's pop the spacer in. That's is good. Here's the other spacer. And that's good as well. We'll move now we can put back in our spacers for the trackpad. The way this works is these don't click in, they slide in. You can kind of see the slides right here. They slide into place, and they overlap the other side of the spacers. So this spacer is underneath the other 2 spacers. We'll put in our trackpad. All right, and then you click the 2 pieces into place. Just since I have it here, one thing I am noticing is like there's a lip here. Like this is not 100% like seamless. If you can't tell here, let me. Like it's hitting right here on this spot. The other side is kind of the same way. I don't expect precision machinery from this laptop in the same way that I would expect from, say, a MacBook or even an XPS. This is meant to be a do-it-yourself kit with some great components built into it. I'm probably going to end up covering most of this up with stickers anyway, or find some sort of cover to go over the entire trackpad. So I'm not too worried about it. I don't think it's anything I would cut myself on. That's not a sharp edge. It's just, it's like a little edge because this isn't 100% lined up. All right, let's go ahead and move on to our, let's find where the bezel pops out. So what I understand from what I read earlier, this is all magnets. It should just pop on. Here's the bezel part. Now, also this you can get in multiple colors. This is a flimsy piece of plastic. It's not meant to be much, but if we go ahead and clip it, oh my gosh, yeah, it knew exactly where to go. It is clicked into place and go around the edges. It is exactly where it expects to be. There are places for the microphone and for the webcam. What's also cool is these come with integrated little closing tabs. So if for some reason you don't want your laptop to be spying on you, so we can take that cover off, you can turn it off. Like, you can physically turn it off from the bezel, which is cool. I don't think I've seen other laptops do that. Maybe they exist. But there you go. The framework is now fully assembled. It is ready to go. It opens up nice. It's got a nice amount of weight on the bottom, so I can, without holding it, flip it open. It holds itself. The hinge on this has a lot of really good staying power. I'm not complaining about that. It doesn't feel flimsy at all. The screen stays where I put it, wherever I put it, if I open it all the way up. Now, I have a couple additional steps that you're not going to be able to see on camera. I'm going to go put Windows 11 Pro on it, and I'm going to charge up the battery. And then I'll come back and I'll give you some final impressions of what I think about this laptop. So it's probably been about an hour and a half since I finished the assembly and configuration of my framework. I had to go prepare a thumbstick for Windows 11, which I didn't have with me. I thought I had it ready to go, but I didn't. So I had to go prepare that. A couple of things that you pick up along the way. I messed with it a little bit. The USB-C charging works great. There are little indicator lights on both sides. So if you have a power source plugged into your USB-C, it will light up white if it's fully charged, or it will be orange if it's charging. That works extremely well. I have no complaints about that. One thing I learned while I was reading some of the forums, just looking for any quirks that I need to be aware of, the charge capability is only available on the backmost or middle expansion port on both sides. So if you were to put USB-C on one of your frontmost expansion ports and plug something into it, it's not going to charge. So good to know. I wouldn't have known that if I didn't read the instructions. A couple of little other things about this. I went through and I did all the drivers. I did the BIOS. When you're installing Windows, the Windows install doesn't have a generic enough Wi-Fi driver for this machine. So if you are installing Windows, you know how Windows 11 wants to connect everything to the internet so it can sign you into your Microsoft account. Can't actually get that far because we don't have a Wi-Fi driver. I knew that before going into this because I read some of the instructions ahead of time, and I put the Wi-Fi driver on the thumbstick so I could install it during the Windows 11 install. And then it worked great. I did the rest of the drivers. I did the bio. Some other little things that are a little bit quirky about this that you should just be aware of. There is no Windows Hello built into this webcam. So if you are used to Windows Hello on other laptops, it's not available here. There is, however, a fingerprint sensor built into the power button, very similar to XPS and other laptops I've had. So you can set that up and that works great. Other than that, the trackpad is responsive. It works, unlike my XPS. And the keyboard seems good as well. I don't have any major qualms with the keyboard. There is, it's a good laptop. It also gets a little warm. I was doing some heavier work with it a couple of minutes ago, and I could tell it was getting warm. So this might not necessarily be the laptop that you want to hold on your lap. I'll have to do some tests with it where I'm using it on the couch or in the Lazy Boy. But so far, so good. I don't know what the battery life's like on it. I haven't actually gotten that far. Actually, so let's just unplug the USB-C and we'll start that test now. I still need to install my development tools on it, things like Docker and whatnot. That's all good. Earlier in the video, I talked about that I was trying to put in a secondary hard drive and I couldn't figure out how to do it, that I thought it was supported. It is supported. It just doesn't support the longer NVMe or VM sticks of for hard drives. They support a much smaller, the 2230 form factor. So I can put additional memory in there. I just have to buy a different stick. So I've already put that Amazon order in. Should be here tomorrow. I'll put another 2 terabytes worth of storage into this machine. So this isn't necessarily going to be a daily driver for me. It's going to be something I take on trips to different conferences. I might try doing a little bit of my day-to-day work on it just to give it a field test and see how well it does. But that's the Framework 16. If you're interested on, I'll put links and stuff in the comments so you can go pick up your own. And if you have experiences with the Framework 16 or any of the frameworks, I would love to hear about it. I'm hopeful that this machine will outlast the XPS and be a great machine moving forward. So from the Shed Quarters, thank you all for hanging out with me today, and take care.